A very good morning to all of you. On behalf of the IT family and especially the Research and Development Cell, I take this opportunity to welcome all of you for this week-long faculty development program on intellectual property rights, research and publication ethics, and manuscript preparations. Looking into our Prime Minister's recent call, where he added the fourth quote after Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, Jai Vigyan, and Jai Ram. This probably would have been the most relevant step that we have taken, and it's really appreciable on the part of the research itself that we have taken this initiative. It is said that the best research you can do is to talk to people, and this faculty development program would provide an opportunity for this interaction. To begin this program, let's pay our homage to the goddess Saraswati and seek her blessings for more knowledge and more research. I request our director, Sir Dr. P. Ramarao sir, to please come and pay homage, light the lamp. So please. Thank you, sir. The growth and development of people is the highest calling of leadership. And indeed, when we talk of leadership, we talk of someone under whose patronage this institution has grown from step to step. This faculty development program and recently held students project was the result of the vision and idea by our director sir. So it's time to welcome our director sir with a floral bouquet. I request Dean Research and Development, Dr. Ethicsand, to welcome sir with a floral bouquet. Thank you, sir. See, if I have 10 rupees and if you have 10 rupees and we both exchange it, we still will have 10 rupees each. But if you have an idea and I have an idea, and if we both exchange it, we'll have 20, we have 2 ideas each. This faculty development program is indeed going to be the exchange of ideas. To tell you more, I request Professor Neha Sharma for her welcome address.
Thank you, sir. A very good morning to our respected director, sir, Dr. T. Ramarao, sir, all the dignitaries, deans, HODs, and all the participants present here. Today, Reliance Institute of Technology, Raipur is organizing a 6-day faculty development program on IPR research, publication ethics, and manuscript preparation. I would like to extend my warm welcome to our director, sir, Dr. T. Ramarao, sir, all the deans, HODs, faculty members, and all the participants present here. I also feel privileged to extend my warm welcome to our speakers, Professor Ramesh Chandra Panda, sir, Professor Rajat Malhotra, sir, Dr. Amit Dubey, sir, Dr. Khwaja Moinuddin, sir, Dr. Vikas Dubey, sir, and Dr. Silva Sharma. The main objective of this activity is to impart great awareness about the issues of intellectual property rights, which has gained a special importance for all domains in socio and economic development. The program aims to provide the basic information and awareness on intellectual property rights from innovation to commercialization. It aims to understand the patentability criteria in the detailed and writable aspect of patent and deep discussion about manuscript preparation and paper writing ethics. On the behalf of the organization, I would like to welcome you all and inform you that the faculty development program will be completely enlighten you pertaining to the IPR research and publication ethics and manuscript preparation. I hope this activity will be helpful for all of you. Thank you for being the part of this activity. Thank you.
Now, I take this opportunity to invite Dr. Vikas Dubey for his address and briefing on this faculty development program.
Thank you very much, Radhika sir. Respected Director Dr. T. Ramarao sir, Dean Conference Dr. R. K. Mishra sir, Dean Training and Placement Dr. Khwaja Moinuddin sir, Convener of the conference Neha Sharma ma'am, our keynote speaker Dr. Silva Sharma ma'am, Co-Convener Professor Hemant Verma sir. I would like to welcome all the participants on behalf of management, PIT Raipur, and our core research team members. The title of the activity is Intellectual Property Rights, Research and Publication Ethics, and Preparation of Manuscript. This is one big program organized by the Institute of Technology Raipur in hybrid mode. The main objective was to spread awareness and deliver fundamental knowledge about intellectual property rights from innovation to commercialization. That is the key word already presented by our convener. It helps to faculty and research students to know the types of patent like innovation patent, design patent, and utility patent, as well as the trademarks, trade secrets, and criteria for copyright, filing procedure of patents, its fee, its legal issue, etc. After 2014, so many retraction of articles were going on. In this context, UGC design a guideline and implement some coursework in PhD for PhD students. UGC in 2018 was include one more research paper, that is research and publication ethics, during the coursework of PhD, including research methodology to aware scholars about falsification, fabrication, and plagiarism policy in scientific conduct. There are so many international committees such as COP, that is the Commission on Publication Ethics, as well as in research ethics, main contents will be covered such as conduct and misconduct in scientific research, some guidelines that is called Sherpa Rodeo guideline, salami publication such as slicing of publications, and simultaneous submission that is related to research ethics and research misconduct. Manuscript preparation is very important part, and in that particular things, the academician and researchers in this FDP we will focus for some relevant topics such as journal finder, journal indexing, impact factor of journal, how we can prepare the articles, how to communicate articles, and how we can cite any article. Now, our team will try to cover all the topics in this 6-day FDP program. Now, my best wishes to our team for 6 days FDP program. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for pulling up this outline of the faculty development program. It is said, a leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. If you talk of leadership, as we look ahead into the next century, as Bill Gates said, as we look ahead into the next century, leaders will be those who empower others. And we are lucky, we have someone who has always believed in empowering the faculties with various programs. It's opportunity and privilege that I welcome our director, sir, Dr. P. Ramarao, sir, for his special address. Sir, please.
Thank you, Panikar sir. Honorable Dr. R.K. Mishra ji, Dr. Vikas Dubey ji, Dr. Khwaja Mohiuddin ji, Dr. Shilpa Sharma, and convener of this FDP, Professor Neha Sharma, all the head of the departments and all my dear faculties. It's a really great time for us. As you know that we are organizing this FDP for IPR, research, publication ethics, and manuscript preparation. Yeah, we have seen that when we are doing the research and we are going for publication or filing the patent, we we find lot of problems, lot of legal issues arises. And as rightly Dr. Vikas Dubey has told that since 2014 UGC has made it mandatory for 1 year coursework so that all the researchers can know how to proceed for the research. And as Panikarji also has added that Honorable Prime Minister, this time he has introduced one more tag word, Anusandhan, Jai Anusandhan. So Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, we have got the good crops from that. Then Jai Vigyan and Jai Anusandhan. Really, we are lacking in research. So slowly that we are improving it. So further for the improvement, these are the issues which every researcher faces. So I congratulate the organizer for organizing this 60s FDP in this topic. And I also welcome from the Bida Institute of Technology, Administration and Management, the Dr. Amit Dubey, Scientist, the Joint Director, CCOS, Raipur, Professor Ramesh Chandra Panda, Chief Scientist, Vecro, India, Professor Rajat Malhotra, IPR Attorney and Principal Consultant, IDEA to IPR, Dr. Vikas Dubey, Dean and Dean Research and Development, Dr. Khwaja Mohiuddin, Associate Professor, Department of Electronics and Dean Training and Placement, Dr. Shilpa Sharma, Assistant Professor, Department of Chemistry. And I will also announce here that there are 50 institutions in this MPPS told by Dr. Vikas Dubey, and many of the participants are from other states also. So it's a national level FDP program. I wish the organizer for a great success, and I request all the faculty member of our college also to attend, because the future is for the research only. So we must update ourselves in this area. So again, I wish the organizers for a successful FDP in future in these 6 days, and request all the participants to listen this carefully, and this is needed for well needed for you for your research. So thank you for the organizer for giving this opportunity to me. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now it's time to have the pre-faculty development program talk. And for this, since this is going to be an hybrid mode, our speaker, Professor Ramesh Chandra Panda, will be available online. On behalf of BIT Raipur family and BIT Raipur Research and Development Cell, I take this opportunity to welcome Professor Ramesh Chandra Panda, Chief Scientist, Wipro India. Without taking much of the time, I now invite him online for his pre-FDP talk. Sir, please. because of some technical issues, we are going to start the pre-MDP talk after 5 to 7 minutes. Now it's time for the IP. I request the faculty members to please have the IP.
मेरा हो गया पापा वहाँ इससे कैमरा थोड़ी देर को ऑफ करना होगा वेट ना थोड़ा मैं उसको करना मीट में प्रोजेक्ट कराओ ना मीट में यहाँ से कॉलेज करना यहाँ से मैं शुरू कर दूँगा तो कभी बड़ा करूँगा नाइट पे जाएंगे खराब है खराब शेयर कर दीजिएगा एक्सेप्ट करना पड़ेगा। सर देखिए स्क्रीन दिख रही है क्या? एक ही उसकी
पावर क्या है? पावर है तो बिना पावर तो पूरे बंद हो जाना है। वोल्टेज दो है और ऐसे क्या अलग है?
सर आगे है ना स्क्रीन विजिबल है। एक बार आपको दिखा देता हूँ।
हाँ
by ethics in research and innovation and type of IPR, intellectual property. These are the topics. Identify the concept of principles of ethics, policy on ethics, ethical issues, and research and development. IPR is research and finally the conclusion. So what is ethics? That is basically terms. Ethics derives from the Greek word that means ethos, meaning character. So ethics is very important in research and development because a man without ethics is a void, deeds loose upon this world. That is Albert Camus. According to Delstone in 2002, ethics concern what ought to be done. They are a matter of principles, sensitivity to the rights of others. Basically, we have research and ethics की बात करें तो ethics is very important for research and development. Without ethics, the research has so many difficulties. So core principles of research ethics are do no harm to society and the humanity, informed consent, protection of anonymity and confidentiality. So basically, in that particular concern, that code in 2002 described the research ethics and its principle. So first is do not harm. Basically, ethics is very important for research and innovation. So, research is beneficial for society and that is for humanity. So, if we not harm during our research, so that is called research ethics. If we will use some content from another work, so we will definitely take a consent from that particular publication house and the authors. So that second part is informed consent. Next is the protection of that particular research and development. So that is very important in a research ethics. And next is the confidential. So we are confidential for our research and ethics and we cannot share our idea to everyone. We can share our idea to our loved one, we can share our idea to our client, but we cannot share idea to everyone because that is very confidential. So these are the policies of research ethics. First is enable researchers to enhance their capability to undertake ethical research. That is important. Maintain their independence, especially when confronted with undue influence or pressure which may compromise their integrity. So we can maintain our integrity, serve as a basis for policymakers, and to provide an enabling environment for the practice of ethical research. So all the person which wish to conduct the research, they will go for the ethical research. Provide an additional resources for the teaching and training of the student in research and ethical practices. Discourage unethical research practices. So what are the unethical research practices? Basically, the falsification, fabrication, and plagiarism. These are the three main content that is related to unethical research behavior of any research scholar. So the falsification means that we can report the wrong thing or interpret the wrong thing during our research career or research work. Second is fabrication. We can fabricate the data, such as we are working in a particular medical field and we are medical practitioner, and we got some data related to cancer treatment and tissue cell culture, and we can fabricate the data if we have not the actual data, and we can fabricate data and the data will be published. So that is the unethical research. And next is the plagiarism. That is very very basic and important part of research. We cannot go for plagiarism. If we can plagiarize anything, so there are so many punishable things are there. For example, I will share some plagiarized content. Screen is visible. Where is screen visible? Google. So one professor from ISM Dhanbad, they are doing some unethical behavior. So one website is constructed by a person for better of science, that is Sarma's bad karma, or is anyone peer reviewing? Two professors from ISM Dhanbad, they are plagiarized some content from another person. You can see the images, the Sarma's bad karma, or is there anyone peer reviewing nanotechnology? So both the three professors are working in the field of physics and nanotechnology or biotechnology in curing the cancer disease or cancer treatment. Okay, so nanotechnology is the way to cure cancer and save humanity of all its problems in general. The photoshopping team around the physicist, Professor Prashant Sharma from Hyderabad, and her wife, his wife Rashmi Madri, rode the train till here slave interval. So basically, they got plagiarized some content. You can see there are so many reports, and basically a complaint in registered in the international cyber complaint and formal police complaint, and the case determination of worth $50,000 per author, means this is the penalty for each and every author. $50,000 per author, and total 11 PhD students are registered under the able guidance of Sharma et al. And these 11 PhD were cancelled due to unethical behavior, and 8 papers of Sharma et al. Are retracted from biomaterial. Okay, so this is the side effect of unethical research or unethical behavior. You can search the plagiarized content and you can see the unethical behavior of that particular scientist. Screen is visible? Okay. So we will not go for this type of research. Okay. So make ethical as integral part of the planning and methodology of research. If you can plan anything, so you will go for the perfect methodology. Then that is the ethical methodology. You can cite the particular paper, you can report, you can take permissions from the publication house. Okay. So preserve and promote the anatomy, quality, legitimacy, and credibility of the research through ethical behavior. Protect and promote the rights of research participants and honor their trust in research and researchers. Okay, so these are the some criteria. If you will go for the some human participants, animal, data, institution or other living or genetically modified organisms, so we can follow the ethical guidelines of the university or the publication house. So some of the research issue within the research and the publications. The first is the research design. So researchers must acknowledge that when experimental design are adopted from some participants may act as a control and so not receive a potential beneficial intervention. So basically that is related to if we can adopt some idea or we can adopt some experimental design from another paper, so we can acknowledge them, we can cite them. Sample, the size of the sample must therefore be considered as justified to ensure that it is sufficient to provide valid generalizable results. So we have the sampling or we have the previous idea, we can cite them, we can mock them, we can consent with the other authors, and then after we will report our research work. So that is the ethical research. So data collection is very, very important. If you will collect the data from different agencies, from different sites, from different participants or different observations. So this should be used only where data cannot be collected in any other way. So there are some specific methods to collect your data. Now, some unforeseen needs, just like a clear task, must be in a place to address particular needs that may arise during the course of any research, but which may lie outside the research knowledge, skill, or expertise, bearing in mind the need to confidentiality. So yeah, that is very, very important. Sometimes we can forget to cite the authors. So we will go for the editor. We can write to the editor and we can modify our research work after publication. So some ethical issues in a social science research. You can see some consent. The prospective research participant must be fully informed about the procedure and risk involved in a research and must give their consent to participate. So here that is very, very important. If you will go for any kind of research, you will consent the participants and you will uh, uh, confident to produce the research or the procedures. If any risk is involved in this particular research, you can consent the participant, you can involve the uh, higher authorities, you can involve the university authorities, you can involve in publication house, you can clearly mention the consent of the participant. Risk or harm, basically, if you will disclose the researchers and the authors to ethical standards and also require the researchers not to participate in a situation where they might be at risk or harm as a result of their participation. Harm can be, it may be a physically or psychologically. So that is very, very important. If any harm is related to your research ethics or your research, so basically you can inform the participation ki what type of harm should be produced during your research. Confidentiality is very, very important. Almost all research guarantees the participants confidentiality. They are assured that identifying their information will not be made available to anyone who is not directly involved in the study. So you can share your ideas for inventories or patents. So these are the criteria to be a patent. Okay. So it should be a new, it should be the inventive step, and it should be a industrial application. So not to be publicly known in any way, anywhere in the world. So you will go for the patent. Okay. Something that represents an important over any existing product or process that is already available. So that is the inventive steps, nor the industrial application useful and have some form of practical application. It should be capable of being made or used in some form of. So basically, it can be applicable if you have any idea, and it can be applicable. So that is, you will go for the patent. So general non-patentable things. There are so many not patentable things also. Okay, so first is the discoveries, mathematical models, scientific theories, schemes, rules, playing games, method of business, program for computers, presentation of information. These are not of patentable things. So you will go for the patentable thing. It should be a new idea, that is the in application. Okay, so what are the advantages of patents? Okay, so that is the protection of the patentee, enabling him to enjoy the right and to raise the capital for working his innovation on a commercial scale. So if you will go for your work in commercial scale, so you will go for the patent. The patentee would be able to make a profitable use of his invention by selling his patent or by granting license to others, permitting the use of his invention. So you can go for rent, you sell your patent and earn some money. Help for industrial growth by the introducing new technology, that is very, very important. The patent helps for industries growth by introducing new technology. So the scientific knowledge contained in the patent specification helps as is stepping stone for the further research and development field. Okay, so what are the copyrights? Basically, exclusive and assignable legal rights give to the originator for a fixed number of years to print, to publish, to perform, film, or record literary, artistic, or musical material, such as if we will go for the publication, so we will sign a copyright. If we will go for the open access publication, so the copyright contains our own. But if we will go for the subscription based publication, so we will hand over all the authority to publication house. They can use, they can write, they can read, they can print, they can publish, they can perform, they can sell. Actually, we know that the other research article, if you will go for this subscription base, so basically general publication house will sell in $35. That is what cost of one research paper. So basically this cost in is not for your benefit, that is benefit for publication house. Okay, so publication house will sell your article, they can reprint your article, they can reproduce your article, and you will not earn any benefit. You will got only one benefit, that your article will be open or published, and that is beneficial for your institution. That's all. Okay. So basically, if you will go for the copyrights, so copyrights contents are, for example, compact disc, cassettes, or videotapes, cable or satellite. So these are the copyrights: literary works, dramatic work, musical work, artistic work, cinematography, sound recording, computer program. Okay, so these are the some copyrights. What are the advantages of copyrights? So it can protect work against unauthorized reproduction, even though the work has been published. If the work will already published. The work has already been published, but if you will not go for the copyright, your work will be used for so many researchers and so many authors. Okay, and if we wish to cite any work or we wish to use any content, so we will go for the copyright clearance center. If we have the find the copyright, if we wish to use our own work, so we will go for the copyright clearance center. Means that we need a permission from the that particular publication house. For example, suppose I have a paper. Okay. Suppose I have a paper just like okay. So I have a paper, suppose that is related to thermodynamics study of your materials. Okay, and I would like to use some content of my paper. Okay, so in that particular case, I would like to request for a permission from copyright clearance center because it is not my authority. I have signed the copyright, and the copyright owner is the publication house. Suppose it is the paper from a single thing, and I would like to use any content from this particular paper, so we will go for the reprints and permission. Okay, we will cite as well as we wish to request for reprints and permission, and we will go for the copyright clearance center and take permission from that particular copyright clearance center. Suppose that is called CCC, that is called copyright clearance center. If I would like to use one image from my own paper, okay, so I would like to use what? Okay, I will reuse the medical communication, I will post the website, I will do reuse for the copyright proceeding, or I will reuse in a book or text, or I will reuse in a journal or magazine. Suppose I will select reuse in a journal magazine. Okay, so there are so many criteria. Okay, there is a quick price estimate also. If I would like to use my own work, but I will go for the subscription-based journal or not paid journal or not open access. So there are some charges. If I am the author, so there is no any charges. But if I would like to use another content, so there is some charges for use the contents. Okay. So suppose I am the academic university or research institute. My format is online or offline. Okay, to make a selection. So is this sponsored by any associated medical product company? No. Okay, so my format is that is both print and electronic. I would like to use the image, so figures, tables and illustrations. So how many figures are there? Suppose it's a 2. Okay, so circulation and distribution near about the 5,000 to 500 to 99. If I am the author of that particular journal, so there is no charges. But if I am not an author of that particular publication or that particular paper, so near about $59 is charges. Okay, so I will be translating. No, I am not translating our article. Okay, so will your content be published at open access? No. Okay, so my guarantee is yes, if you go for any price, if I am the author, so there is no any price. Okay, it's a 0 USD. But if I am not the author for that particular article, so the price is near about 210 USD. So that is very very huge. Okay, so if we would like to use any content of another publication, so we will go for the copyright clearance center. So that is very very important. You can register and you can go for that copyright clearance center. Okay. Now next is the plant breeders right. If you will go for any plant breeding or new type of plant generation, okay, hybrid technology, we will opt the hybrid technology. So the rights granted to the breeders of a new variety of plant that gives the breeders exclusive control over the propagating material and harvesting material of a new variety of number of years. Okay, so that is very, very important. Plant breeding rights is also available in IPR. Okay, so what are the benefits related to plant breeding technology? It producing or reproducing the material. You can produce or reproduce your material. Conditioning the material for the purpose of propagation. Offering the material for selling the material, or renting the material. You will go for the rent also. Importing the material and exporting the material. Stocking the material for any of the purpose described above. So these are the plant breeding technology benefits. Okay, what are the trademarks? Basically, that is a recognizable sign, design, expressions. Okay, logo symbol of any company, just like a Coca-Cola company, you know the Coca-Cola company. If you will go for the Mercedes Benz or Audi, okay, so you know the logo or symbol of the Mercedes, Audi, Domino's, McDonald's, okay, Pizza Hut. So there are so many logo or symbols that is basically called trademarks. Okay, so trademarks, undersigned service marks, and the registered trademarks. There are three different types of trademark symbol. First is the trademark. Okay, so that is the unregistered trademark, a mark used to the promote our brand or goods. You can see some trademarks or PM, some SN unregistered service mark, a mark used to promote our brand services. Okay, and next is the R, that is the basically registered trademark. So you will see so many different symbols related to trademark. Okay, these are the geographical indications. GI is a sign used to produce products that have a specific geographical origin and possess quality or a reputation that are due to the origin. Okay, so these are the some geographical indications like the Matthew and okay, some tea, the good coffee, these are very, very famous. Okay, and some products just like so these are the some geographical indications. Okay. So what are the benefits of GI? It confers legal protection to GIs in India or abroad. Prevents unauthorized use of the graphical indication by the others. Help consumer to get quality product of the desired brands and promote economic prosperity of the procedure of goods essential to the get production in other country. So these are some benefits related to geographical indication. Some of the trade secrets are also there. Protect businesses from the unauthorized disclosure or use of the confidential information, such as Coca-Cola company design its own product. Okay, you know about the ITC, that is the Indian Tobacco Company. They can produce the glass mix, copy, film. Okay, Ashirwad Atta is also produced by the ITC. Okay, so there are so many production, but the procedure is very, very hidden. Okay, so to protect businesses from the unauthorized disclosure or use of the confidential information, so we can use the trade secret. Okay, so all the company use the trade secret. In agriculture produce also we can use the trade secret to protect hybrid plant varieties. Okay, so protection of the trade secret is not limited in the time, but unlike patents, the disadvantage of this type of protection is that it is a lost the moment it is discovered independently by a third party. Okay, so the advantage at least to the proprietors in that unlike patent, there is no obligation to disclose the inventories or creative ideas to the society. Okay, so how long does the protection last? Okay, so first is the patent, it's there about the 20 years for the Indian patent. For international or Australian patent, it's 8 years. Design, it may be less than 5 years. We can extend up to 15 years. Trade secrets, until someone spill the bean,
Copyright life of the author plus 60 years. So copyright life of the author plus 60 years. Okay. Trademarks as long as it is a use. So these are the lifetime of painting, design, trade, secret, copyright. Okay, so thank you very much, organizers, for providing me opportunity to deliver my talk related to intellectual property. Thank you.
I request, thank you.
ज़्यादा टाइम तो नहीं है।
Us, if we are honored to have it. Without taking much of your time, I request our director, sir, to welcome our guest with a floral bouquet. Dr. Amit Dubey is Scientist D and a Joint Director of CG Cost, Raipur. What more to say about him? It's not my cup of tea. But what he is going to say, I'll just give a small introduction. I read somewhere that I don't care that they stole my idea. I care that they don't have any of their own. So here I invite Dr. Dubey with his talk on intellectual property rights. Sir, please.
That's basically the punchline. Good afternoon to you all. That's basically the punchline which is held. The IPR is based on the entire fact of that, and rather it would further help you out to protect your idea so that nobody can steal it, even if they don't have their own. That's what I can add. IPR can help you out with, or IPR has an ecosystem frame all over India. And today I would be deliberating on what basically IPR is in a nutshell, though it is a very vast subject. It is being taught as a separate paper in several of the universities. In law, it is a separate branch altogether. So I'll try and clear it out in what nutshell I can do in 1 hour or the stipulated time frame which I've been given. So, and the second part which I would like to add is you can ask me any question in between as well. I don't mind that. Please don't wait for the end. Because then it becomes very difficult to answer all the questions and there would be only 2-3 hands and it doesn't solve my purpose. So I'll tell you two things. One is what is IPR and the second is where we stand. Means like what council does for IPR in the state. So my presentation covers scope of intellectual property, secondly innovation and technology adaptation. So that this would help you out in where to plan your research projects and how to plan it, because that is what is going on in national level. We did right now celebrated 75th years of our independence, and we organized a stream of programs all the year round. This month on 30th, it would be the last program, which would be on IPR. We started from STI ecosystem in the state, industry and Atmanirbharta and this and that. Each month there was a separate topic. This month it would be IPR, the concluding one. So in that context, everybody is basically STI ecosystem formation and how to have collaborative and need-based research, need-driven research, not just to fulfill API or whatever those marking grades are. Not to do that. The second part of my presentation would be innovation and technology adaptation, introduction to patents and copyright, because I will not be able to cover all the IPR in one day, or rather in a week's time as well. Then what's council's intervention? Why IPR? Nowadays there is a lot of fuss about IPR. IPR based on natural justice. That means creator should have the right to his creation. That is how the basic concept of IPR is. If I have done something through my intellect, then I have the right on that product or a process which I have formulated, or a design which I have made, or whatever I have done, or a kahani if I have written. So that is the basic. It is based on principle of natural justice, and it gives a transparent system. Like if say I have a patent on something, if I have a patent on something, then nobody in the world can have a second patent on the same, even if he tries so, because patent is basically global. There is no such thing like global patent, but patent if granted in India also entails a global search. Means to file a patent in India and get a patent in India, the search which is done is basically global. आप लोगों ने सबने सुना होगा हल्दी, नीम, बासमती. उसकी स्टोरी के पीछे का क्रक्स ये है कि हल्दी पेटेंट कराई गई थी यूएस में. There was a patent of haldi in US. Indian government actually filed a case against that, and we won. Why we won is more important than we won. We won because it was already known to us that haldi is an antiseptic, and haldi is used in India from birth to death, and for the very same purposes, skin conditioning. और दूसरा एक और important aspect, because our trade would have been hampered if we would have not won that case, because फिर हल्दी चंदन के गुण इसमें समाये, विको टर्मरिक आयुर्वेदिक क्रीम, कौन नाम लेता उसका? That is how it works. It wouldn't have been exported there because haldi is patented there. Okay, so these are two main reasons, but the primary reason behind it is we knew. So anything which is known to public is not patentable in published form or in general form. That's how it works. So it basically is a transparent system, and it actually entails the evolution of society, science and technology, and the most economy. Because more the number of patents, it is as good as your land, it is as good as your property. If you own a patent, it is as good as a property. It can be sold, licensed, leased, or will. Like for example, Lata Mangeshkar has sung a whole lot of songs. She passed away. Who's getting the royalty? She has willed it to somebody, and a family member is getting the royalty till date, and he or she would get that royalty for further 60 years. That's with the copyright.
And it can also be transferred.
It can also be transferred. Will, I said, I can will my patent to my kid or to any Tom, Dick and Harry whom I like. I can will it, sell it, license it, lease it.
Lease it as well.
Yes?
You can lease it out as well.
Yes, I said that. Lease, license, will, or transfer, or even zone wise I can license. That all we can do with the patent itself. And this is not new thing which I am telling you. It's absolutely not a new thing. एकलव्य से अंगूठा मांगा था, अर्जुन की मोनोपोली बनी रहे। वैद्य और हकीम कभी भी अपना फॉर्मूला नहीं बताते। There are more than 250 Vaidya and Hakim in Chhattisgarh who have been enlisted by the forest department. They are enlisted by with the ailment which they cure, but they will never tell you what that kadha which they are giving it to you is. They will not tell you what is the ingredients. Even if they tell you the ingredient, they will not tell you the percentage formulation of it. So it's an age-old phenomenon of keeping your knowledge with you all the time. That's what happened with Ayurveda also. Mouth to mouth transfer from one generation to another. This system, IPR system, entails documentation of that knowledge. And after a requisite period of time, it can go into the public domain. How it helps? It helps again in two ways. One is for the stipulated period of time you can have the fun of getting the royalty and economically benefiting you or your organization, both. And secondly, it curtails redundancy in research. How it does? It curtails redundancy in research, that means repetition in research. How it does that? Because if I know that there is a patent in this field done by somebody else, why would I embark into a project which is actually the same? So if I do a patent search, which is now in free domain now, you don't have to buy any software or anything of that sort which we have. You don't have to do it. You can do it on free domains. Google Patents, eSpace, or WIPO, you can search freely. So you can search the interest topic of yours, how many patents have been there according to the keywords which you can generate with being an expert in that domain. So you use those keywords, search that patent, and you will know how many patents are there. You can read the entire document itself in PDF format. And for formulating your project, you can always go a step further or something add to it, an addendum to what has been done. That would entail innovation and further patenting and further IPR development. So that is how science and technology also develops, economy also develops, and it curtails redundancy in the research. What is the scope of IPR? Company value. Say for example, if I say MIT, मुझे तो M का full form नहीं है, Institute of Technology मालूम है. मैं बोल नहीं सकता Massachusetts in US. I cannot speak that. So वो MIT, what do you think first? What I know about MIT is because they have licensed their technology and the entire university is running on the basis of license fees. That's the first thing which comes into mind. They are actually the problem solvers in engineering and technology there. If a company has a problem, they go to MIT, they do this, we'll give you this much money. That entails that basically is their reputation, because what they have achieved is in due course of time they have got lot many of patents, lot many of IP addressed, and they have transferred it to somebody or licensed it to somebody or leased it to somebody or given it to the government for free of cost. So that's how reputation is built. Now these few institutions which we know because of their technology are like MIT and this and that. There are other institutions in India also which are coming up like IITs. They are also transferring a whole lot of technology. CSIR. You see a list of technologies which are available with CSIR and they have got a license fee. You can buy that technology from them. A water filter terracotta can cost you 50,000 bucks only, which you can use it for dissemination here in the villages near. You buy it from CSIR, they license it. So reputation building. Entry barriers. Like for example, if I want to do a business in some other country, what is the first thing I have to do? Now if you can ask me questions in between, I can also ask you questions. That is how it works. So what is the first thing if I want to do business in somewhere else? तो ख्वाजा साहब आप ही शुरू हो जाइए, बताइए, चलिए क्लास ऐसे ही होती है ना.
देखूंगा सर मेरे सेम बिजनेस में और कोई कॉम्पिटिटर्स है कि ऑलरेडी एग्जिस्ट.
How you would find it?
गूगल.
That's not the right way to do it, but your answer is right. Your answer is right. You will see that whether there is a competitor there or not. And the way you will find it is basically FTO search, which is called as freedom to operate search. And that is entirely based on patent literature. If say I have a patent of haldi in US, in India if somebody is having the same haldi being produced for the same thing, he can produce it in India but cannot export it to US because I have a patent in US territory. So you have to see that whether you are free to operate in that area or not, which is called as freedom to operate search. That freedom to operate search is done before embarking into any business venture away from the country. Say for example, I have patent in India. I said in the first thing only there is no such thing like global patent. So if I have a patent in India, my territory is India. If somebody is manufacturing the same thing in China, I cannot prevent that because I don't have a patent in China. But I can apply for patent in 155 countries which are under World Trade Organization or TRIPS agreement. I can do apply that in all the countries separately or with PCT application. So I can get patents in all the countries. But then the second part of my lecture I'll tell you why we don't. Because of technology adaptation and other stuff. So this is how it works. So FTO search is done first. तो entry barriers reduce हो जाते हैं. अगर आपके पास patent है, तो entry barrier reduce हो जाता है. So these are basically a scope of financial leveraging. How many? Say for example, how many of you are from computer science or IT or that background? Could you please tell me how many patents this Microsoft has? More than 80,000. And about 35,000 has been filed also. They've got software patent as well. So that's the patent portfolio of Microsoft, and that's the reason they are driving the scenario. They have got brand value that way. अभी तो free of cost दे रहे हैं, कल को वो चाहे नहीं दें तो नहीं मिलेगा. It would be a problem. So avoid infringement, goodwill, competition, these are. But then last but not the least, there can be different views, but presently IPR is the most important factor in global economic scenario. That's the most important factor. That's the way we are actually ranking states, we are ranking countries, we are ranking everything on the basis of IPR. Everything on the basis. The new IPR policy actually entails that. So the second part is basically innovation. I'll not go into the details of it because everybody knows about it. What is innovation? According to me is an idea, new idea and putting into practice is innovation. It can be incremental, it can be detrimental, it can be systemic, it can be targeted, or it can be organizational, it can be institutional, anything per se. Idea and putting it into practice. And idea only has to be novel.
There is a question, sir.
Please.
Everybody is preparing cementitious products. It is already known to everybody. There are so many ingredients available in this. Suppose I am having some ingredient as per my ratio, means ingredient ratio, and I am saying that it is an innovation. Will it be?
It will be. It will be. But then the question is whether that innovation is patentable or not.
Then what are the conditions?
Then I'll go into that detail. But innovation point of view, you are right. Because your ratio is something. जैसे for example, मैं अभी दे देता हूँ एक example. जैसे for example, आंवला, रीठा और शिकाकाई. That's the most general example which I give mostly in all my lectures. आंवला, रीठा और शिकाकाई हम क्यों जानते हैं? Good for hair growth. I come up with a ratio saying आंवला आधा किलो, रीठा 250 ग्राम और ये आधा किलो is best for your hair growth, dry hair growth. Okay? It's a new ratio. specified dry here, but it is not patentable. Punchline was coming in the last one. That's the reason you're awe in your face. It is not patentable. It is not patentable because Amla, known in pharmacopoeia for hair growth, Rita, known in Ayurvedic pharmacopoeia for hair growth, Shikakai, known in Ayurvedic pharmacopoeia for hair growth. What I have done is basically I have just admixture it. I have mixed three ingredients. There is no chemical reaction involved. I have just mixed it. Now let me again change, justify. Active ingredient of Amla 25% weight by volume. इंजीनियरिंग के इसके थोड़ा कम समझ में आएगा. एक्टिव इंग्रेडिएंट माने वो जिसके कारण हेयर ग्रोथ होती है, आंवला. तो एक्टिव इंग्रेडिएंट ऑफ आंवला 25 weight by volume, 50% weight by volume रीठा active ingredient, and 25 weight by volume shikakai is the best combination for dry scalp hair growth. Whether it is patentable or not. Yes. That's the inventive step I did. What I did was, the only inventive step is finding that exact ratio which is good for hair growth. So that's my innovation. And that too dry scalp hair growth. That's my innovation. So innovation is nothing but an idea putting into practice. Conception of, what amount of property has significantly changed. आज की तारीख में हम conception property की बदल गई. We don't know what property is anymore. Rather we are not sure. Somebody says land, तो किसी को ये लगता है कि land में problem, कहीं गड़बड़ हो जाती है जमीन में. Yeah, there are a lot of this thing associated with the land. But one thing which has remained through in this period is basically the IP. We no longer are restricting the meaning of property to tangibles. मतलब land, सोना, ये tangibles है. We are no longer restricting it. Intangible assets are far more important these days rather than tangible assets. And intangible is basically the intellect which you have and whatever innovations you are doing. Then ideas and concepts are basically dictating the economy these days. ये जो नया कहानी आ रहा है वो सब इसीलिए आ रही है. Whatever new services you are getting is because of that only. New products, new services, ये सब उसी कारण है, because of new idea, new concepts, and so on and so forth. And universities and research institutions are basically the hub for all this. So what innovation cycle starts from research and innovation, which is being done by R&D university or institutions like the IIT. And development, patenting and approval, production, marketing, and then adoption in the market. This is what is happening. But this entire process is not that easy. If you see, rarely a same technology, this is basically technology adaptation part of it. Rarely a same technology is adapted all over the world. Can you name one single technology which is same all over the world? One single technology, name one please. I would be very grateful. Even if you talk about mobiles, because most often then they call mobile or internet, both are different in different countries. We still are at 3G or 4G level, and there is 6G, 7G coming at there. Your mobile would not work in UK. You will have to change your mobile. There was only one mobile which was working when we went there, which was BlackBerry, which actually I had. And that's what I'm proud of, because I had a BlackBerry. So there is not even a single technology which is applicable worldwide. Say if you talk about farmyard machineries, in US, UK, Europe, or these countries, they are using combines, harvesters, seed drillers, seeding, harvesting processes. They are entirely different and mechanized. In India, you expect a farmer living in Jagdalpur have a mechanized combine like that? No? You all agree with that? Fine enough. So important innovative activities adapt technological solution to a specific conditions. So with this, what I am saying is there is always scope for innovation. taking that high-end technology, disrupting it, making it affordable as per Indian context would entail innovation, and I promise you would also entail IP. उसमें patent भी होगा. That's what I can suggest. So the technology adaptation or technology appropriateness or technology locale specific becomes very important that way. The innovation respond to needs. If you see labor crisis हुआ तो mechanized farming या mechanized system आया, mechanization आया. Amul बना सिर्फ इसलिए because they were not able to sell milk which they were producing there. So it started in the time, it was not Korean who started the entire stuff. Korean brought in the science and technology aspect of milk. It started before that, the cooperative started before that. Mr. Korean or Dr. Korean brought the technological aspect of it by milk testing, pasteurization methodology and this and that, so that the milk shelf life can increase and new products can be formulated by them. The Korean made it possible through science and technology. The cooperative was earlier there, and with this Amul became a brand. Not nationally, it became an international brand. So this is how things come. Cooperative began when period for excessive low farm prices. The environmental regulations also triggered of cleaner technologies like EV cars which we are getting right now, or hybrid cars also passing. They are because the environmental stuff, BS4, BS5, BS6 and so on and so forth. These are international environmental regulations. They are also triggering newer technology. So what I am suggesting to you is basically the scope of innovation, and there is always scope for something new. Even if you take the technology from outside or read the technology from outside, make it into Indian locale specific technology. That would also entail an innovation. As this is an engineering example which I am giving you. These are pliers, basically everybody knows that. But if you see how many patents are there in pliers, and I have a very decent story associated to it. I was coming from Nagpur to Raipur and I had a Hyundai i20, and the driver's side light was off because of I don't know what reasons. So I was driving at night. I had problems with that. I stopped at least 10 places wherever I could find a mechanic. Nobody had a plier to open that, to reach that light. Why it is that? Think of it. So these are pliers, basically a locking plier, 1970, then 1981, again a plier, 1990. These are all patents, US patents. So these newer pliers are being designed just to ensure their monopoly. Hyundai did design the car as well as the plier at the same time, because that requisite plier would open that requisite headlamp. Otherwise, if you don't have that plier, you will not be able to do it. That's how it works. So again, there is always scope for innovation. So what we have to do is basically have creative transformation, searching for innovation requirement and change demand, monitoring technological changes and organizational changes, and transformation for sustaining performance. And it can be done in many ways. Sustaining performance can be making it more economical or making it more efficient. These all are basically sustaining performance stuff. So this can be done. New IPR policy, punchline is capturing the spirit of IP stimulated growth in India. And all these schemes which have been launched, even in the smart city also, they have some or other innovative aspect associated. If you want to start a startup, okay, so you have to file in a form where there is a section which says what is your innovation. So when we register a startup, we have to file what is the innovation which we are targeting, even in case of startups. So it is the whole IPR policy is driven through IP stimulated growth. Now to the intellectual property right. which is basically the point of discussion today. The three parts: intellect, which is related to your mind, which is intangible. Property is something which you own, but then there are two aspects of the property. One is basically owner of the property may use it as he wishes. This is what we think of property. But then there are law of land which actually are associated with that. Say if in case I have bought a piece of land in a residential premises, can I start a factory there? Why? That's the law of land. That's the restriction I am talking about. Same is the case in patents also, or any IP. Law of land, like for example in India, software is not patentable. But in US, software is patentable. That's the law of land. Okay. Then the second part is nobody else can lawfully use the property without owner's permission. So if owner's permission is required to use the property, who has the right to protect his or her property? Say for example, I have a piece of land. Who is entitled to protect that piece of land? Me or the government? Me. Same is the case with the patent. If you have the patent, you have the right to protect it. Thirdly is the right. Right means legally or morally owned, which I can legally or morally claim. 18 साल का होऊंगा तभी वोट डाल पाऊंगा, उसके पहले नहीं. तो लीगल एज इज 18 एंड मॉरल एज का मतलब होता है 16 साल में अगर दाढ़ी मूछ आ गई है तो जाके वहां ऐसे खड़े नहीं होना किसी दूसरे के नाम से. दैट इज मॉरली. You understood what I am saying here? Which is legally or morally claimed. Basic of IPR, just in a nutshell, creation of mind should be new and original in global context. It should be new and original globally, and that is very easy to do. It is not a difficult job. I am telling you for sure it is not an easy, because we have filed 40 patents institutional. We have recently filed 7 patents for National Institute of Technology right now, and few of them we are transferring the technology. We have filed around 47 patents for individual patents, means who have come to us through word of mouth. We have filed 47. We have transferred several of the technologies as well. So I am very sure that to prove it is new and original in global context is easy. It is not that difficult. What happens in new environment is idea first, then concept building around it, designing of that product or a process, then production, then selling in the market, and if it is accepted in the market, it is a success, and if it is not, it is a failure. So the test of innovation lies not in its novelty, its scientific content or its cleverness. It lies in the success place in the marketplace. And if it has to be success in the marketplace, what you need is a need-driven product. If I need a razor Mark III right now, it would be a success. If I don't need it, because I don't need it, so it's not a success product. But if you see in this room itself, there are only 3-4 people who are with the beard and everybody is clean shaven. So I suppose Mark III is a success, isn't it? It's a requirement. Agar aap dekh, all available in net, you can read it at length in PDF format. I will not go into the details. There are 2-3 aspects of it which I just want to tell. IPR में 2 major treaty systems हैं. एक है UPAO और दूसरा है TRIPS. TRIPS is trade related aspect of intellectual property, or UPAO is basically for plant and plant products. Like for example, I cannot take 2 kgs apple from here to US. While landing in the Lax airport, they will clear that. वो सब फेंक देंगे. They will not allow it. So those vegetables cannot, or plant products cannot move from one place to another without proper permissions and proper due diligence. And in TRIPS, all trade related aspects have to be covered. That is what I said with the FTO, freedom to operate. So all trade related aspects have to be covered that way. And all these things are covered by World Trade Organization. और ये पूरा का पूरा कंट्रोल जो है वो वर्ल्ड ट्रेड ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का, जहां रूल्स और रेगुलेशंस बनते हैं. ये आईपीआर के पूरे एस्पेक्ट हैं. पेटेंट्स, कॉपीराइट, ट्रेडमार्क, ज्योग्राफिकल इंडिकेशंस, लेआउट डिजाइन ऑफ इंटीग्रेटेड सर्किट, अनडिस्क्लोज्ड इंफॉर्मेशन, कॉपीराइट एंड फेयर कंपटीशन. इसके अलावा ये एक्ट्स है सारे. पेटेंट का पेटेंट एक्ट 1970. ईच आईपीआर इज गवर्न्ड बाय अ सेपरेट एक्ट इन इंडिया एज वेल एज इन द वर्ल्ड एज वेल. So we have a patent act, we have a design act, trademark act, copyright act, layout design act, and so on and so forth. These are all available in forms of books as well as at net free of cost in PDF format. You can go through that. And these are other important acts which are to be, which actually have some say in IPR. Information Technology Act 2001, wherein these whatever information influx through social or any other media is going on, that can be controlled. But then IPR enforcement rule, Competition Act, you cannot stop somebody to make a product. But in case you have to allow a free, fair competitor also in the market. You cannot entail only a monopoly to somebody. That's what Competition Act is all about. And the Biological Diversity Act. You cannot formulate a herbal product and say हम तो इसको बल्क में बना लेंगे, कोई दिक्कत नहीं. You have to address Biodiversity Act. Because preserving biodiversity is more important than your innovation. And there are other aspects to it also, because there are a lot of things which are going on recently. Is take knowledge from indigenous people, validate in your laboratory, and file a patent on your own. So what happened to the knowledge holder, which was an indigenous people? Nothing. That also is addressed with Biological Diversity Act. Biological Diversity Act says any land, air, water where indigenous people live, own that everything by the indigenous people. They are the owners. So if you even get the knowledge from them, validate in your laboratory, you have to actually give back to them as well through the Biodiversity Act. Then accession of international treaties. India is signatory to Paris, Budapest, Marrakesh and Madrid and several other. So if India is signatory, you being the citizen of the country, you also are the signatory of that treaty. We have to follow those as well. So first thing first, patent. Patent is granted to a patentee for an invention for a limited term which is of 20 years for disclosure of the invention to the government. Say for example, I want to file a patent on some product, then I'll have to disclose the invention to the government in form of specification which has to be written in the patent form. I cannot conceal that information and say कि नहीं आप patent तो मुझे दे दीजिए. ऐसा नहीं होता. That is how it becomes a transparent system. So whatever you disclose is basically you are getting a patent on. If you hide some important aspect, that is not covered in that patent. Even if you claim later on. Even if you claim it later on. Once it gets patented. Once it gets patented. ठीक? Please.
The geographical indication or IPR?
बहुत IPR है geographical indication. Geographical indication is an IPR. But patent and अगर geographical indication का difference पूछेंगे तो basically patent is for a product or process and given to an individual. Geographical indication is a product and the entire right goes to a community, not an individual. Geographical indication is like mozzarella cheese. There is a community which is in France producing mozzarella cheese. उसका एक जो वो आता है क्या बोलते हैं, नहीं बॉक्स नहीं होता, वो इतना बड़ा चक्के जैसा होता है, One chakka is more than 15 to 20 lakh rupees ओरिजिनल मोज़रेला। आपको जो मार्केट में मिल रहा है जिसका हम घर में पिज्जा बना रहे हैं वो एक्चुअली मोज़रेला नहीं है, वो मोज़रेला नाम से बेचा जाता है। That's the infringement of their GI. Like Chhattisgarh has 5 GIs: Bastar Bell Metal Art, Bastar Wrought Iron Art, Bamboo, Bastar Bamboo Art, कोसा जांजगीर चांपास कोसा, जिसको हम यहाँ क्या बोलते हैं उसको कोसा बोलते हैं, कोसा। एंड लास्टली बट नॉट द लीस्ट जीरा फूल राइस, which is a thin grain scented rice. So these all have got a GI tag associated to it, and the community which is producing this has got the right. So that's the difference between GI. अगर आप मैं आगरा का नाम लूंगा तो आपको क्या याद आएगा? खाने वाले लोग पेठा ही बोलेंगे, बाकी जितने हैं वो सब अधिकतर ताजमहल बोलेंगे, लेकिन जो खाने वाले, मैं भी पेठा ही बोलूंगा, ख्वाजा साहब भी पेठा ही बोलूंगा। तो पेठा का मतलब ये, वाई द पेठा, रखिया तो यहाँ भी होता है छत्तीसगढ़ में, इट इज मेड फ्रॉम रखिया, तो वो जो रखिया तो यहाँ भी होता है छत्तीसगढ़ में, लेकिन वहाँ के रखिया में एक जो खास बात है, द व्हाट टू से, जैसे मेरे माय ओल्डी यूज्ड टू से, वो खसखसापन नहीं होता है, मतलब व्हेन यू बाइट थ्रू इट देयर आर लॉट ऑफ फाइबर्स व्हिच इज सीन इन देयर, दैट्स इट। So this is how it works. So patent is basically invention for a limited period which is of 20 years and disclosing the information. It is a conditional grant. If you want, you can do it in 2-3 ways. One is basically you can abandon your first application and file a new one. So you will get a different priority. Secondly, you can add a patent of addition to it. Or you can split that application into 2 parts with 2 different, which is called as splitting of application. Innovation patent जैसी कोई चीज नहीं है. I am in MHRD committee and I am opposing that, and that has been approved. Whatever we are doing with Australian innovation patent is not good, because that is granted in 3 months and that doesn't actually is a patent. That's what I am saying. मैं उस कमेटी में हूँ. I am telling you that. Design is basically just for the aesthetics. सब्यसाची की साड़ी ओरिजिनल खरीदिए आप और मैं नहीं खरीद सकते यार, मैं सही बात है, because it would cost 10-15 lakh rupees. I don't know how much, क्योंकि मैंने पूछा भी नहीं, हिम्मत ही नहीं है दाम, लेकिन वही सब्यसाची की साड़ी इसलिए इम्पोर्टेंट है क्योंकि उसका डिजाइन रजिस्टर्ड है, और वही साड़ी का प्रिंट जो कि इंफ्रिंजमेंट है बेसिकली यहाँ बिकती है 1000-2000 रुपये, और वो बोलते हैं ये अभी लेटेस्ट सब्यसाची दिखाई, बहुत सारे लोग जानते हो। दैट डिजाइन इज जस्ट फॉर द एस्थेटिक्स, एस्थेटिक, जैसे कार का एक्सटीरियर, मतलब जो बाहर की डिजाइन, मस्तांग मोस्ट सक्सेसफुल कार इन यूएस, वो बाहर की डिजाइन जो उसका डिजाइन, दैट्स इट, ओनली एस्थेटिक्स, नॉट द वर्किंग ऑफ इस डिजाइन. Utility doesn't covers under design. Utility is basically under patent only, according to product or process. Product or process is patent, and it is right and obligation. Like for example, आप लोगों को कितने लोगों को फ्री में वैक्सीन लगी? अगर मान लीजिए एक ही कंपनी बनाती है वो वैक्सीन, तो इतने लोगों को मिल जाते हैं. That's the right, and उसका पेटेंट है, लेकिन ऑब्लिगेशन ये है, they have to compulsory license it to others to prepare that vaccine in part, because there was a pandemic situation. So that is right and obligation. Then law of land, I have already told you, owner and assigning, and then High Court and Supreme Court decisions are also taken care of. Honorable High Court and Honorable Supreme Court's decision. 4 पेटेंट ऑफिस हैं. छत्तीसगढ़ falls under jurisdiction of Mumbai Patent Office. There are only 3 benchmarks for patents. I'll wind it up in another 15 minutes. If you have questions, you can ask me in between. There are only 3 benchmarks for patents. One is novelty. That means it should not be published anywhere in the world. Novelty means it should not be published in any form in the world. हल्दी हम इसीलिए जीते because we found it in our manuscripts, historical manuscripts, not today's. Oh, what we do is we do a patent search as well as non-patent search. I have a software at my disposal whose yearly license fee is around 14 lakhs. So we just have to punch those keywords and there are patent literature and non-patent literature in bulk we can see. So if it is published, it would show us and it would also graphically represent the entire search report as well. No, we don't search, it searches the entire patent database all over the world. Keywords. According to the keywords. You cannot, it is not authenticate, plagiarism check नहीं है. ये check है कि वो जो concept है, जो inventive step है, वो actually published है कि नहीं. जैसे हल्दी का पेटेंट हुआ था for antiseptic value, wound healing property of हल्दी. That everybody knows in India. हम तो बुखार में भी हल्दी का दूध पीते हैं यार, जबकि हल्दी का अपटेक है नहीं ब्लड में उतना ज्यादा. Curcumin doesn't stay in blood more than 1 minute or so. It doesn't. Its uptake is also. The invention is foot crack cream. वहाँ फटते हैं ना उसकी क्रीम, ठीक है? वो novel invention है. We filed it and got the patent in 10 months. So you don't have to wait that much now. You can file an expedited application, and that you get a grant in say in a year itself the patent would be granted. Because that is in compliance with the search authorities.
What are the charges involved for getting the
That becomes a very difficult job. If say in case you, that was in my counsel's input, but आप अभी पूछ रहे हैं तो बता देते हैं. अगर आप institutional patent file करते हैं, like means you file a patent in the name of Bhilai Institute of Technology, Raipur, and you as an inventor or anybody as an inventor, we file it for free of cost. Not even a single penny you will have to spend. We'll do the search report, we'll do the drafting, we'll do the filing, and all would be done by the international level. I mean, good nominated nodal patent firms. Like for example, for IJKVV, right now Subramaniam is filing, which is an international lawyer based in Bangalore. And for NIT, there are 3-4 lawyers who are filing. Anand and Anand Associates, Wilson, and इसके अलावा there are others also. Lex and Regia. One of the example I will give you, like आपने 4-5 साल पहले एक बात सुनी होगी कि वो नाले की गैस से चाय बनती है, and then it became a political hype. Everybody was commenting कि वो नाले की गैस से चाय बनाने वाला, then it became very big political hype. Incidentally, that fellow's name is Shyamrao Shirke, and he is 10th pass only. Under the Innovation Fund program of Council, I sanctioned him 40,000. Now this is where you start thinking, Start thinking. I sanctioned him 40,000 rupees. He actually developed that technology and placed it at Budha Talab, in Nala, in front of Budha Talab, towards the Marwadi Shamshan. He placed it there. There are 2 Padma Shri Bharti Bandhu who live there. He actually gave gas to them for 4 months. We got that gas tested at Delhi, IIT. We got a patent on that. That patent was filed by Lex and Regia, Nagpur, which is again a very big firm, patent firm. We got that patent. We transferred that technology to a UK-based company who started its venture in India by the name Manuscript India Private Limited, New Delhi. I'll give you the address as well. And that technology is only 40,000. He is now in the board of director of that Manuscript India Private Limited, that 10th pass Shyamrao Shirke. That's where you applaud. So what we do is basically we actually file in and also transfer the technology. So what you are asking is basically the length, no, not matter anymore. Technology transfer, no matter anymore, because there are national agencies also involved in it. Like DST, TIFAC is involved in it. NRDC, CSIR, DSIR is involved in it. Technology Development Board is involved in it. So these all have, even CPAN, that is under Ministry of Industry and Commerce, Government of India, they are also involved. So technology transfer means from beginning to end to end solution है. अब वो कहानी नहीं है कि आप कराने की कगार पे है, वैसा वाला है ही. So this is basically in a nutshell what patent is all about. Copyright में I just one or two. आप लोगों में से कितने लोगों ने रिसर्च पेपर पब्लिश किया? सब ने किया होगा, प्लीज डोंट रेज हैंड. लेकिन कितने लोगों को वो मेल आया है जिसको आपने डाउनलोड किया, साइन किया, फिर स्कैन किया और भेज दिया? सब ने भेजा होगा, ये भी बता. हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू हैव रेड इट? थ्रू एंड थ्रू पढ़ा है आपने? नहीं, मैं बता रहा हूँ, कुछ समझ में नहीं आता. हाँ, वो मालूम है. ये कह लीजिए या ये कह लीजिए कि पढ़ा नहीं है, दो में से कोई एक चीज. What you do with that form is basically you are transferring your entire copyright to the publisher. आपने थ्री इडियट की कहानी तो सुनी होगी, विदु विनोद चोपड़ा एंड चेतन भगत. What happened was Chetan Bhagat had written a novel. That novel Vidu Vinod Chopra bought copyright. He bought that copyright with an agreement. And then when it became a 1,000 crore rupees film, Vidu Vinod Chopra was sued. उसको केस किया चेतन भगत. He was sued because he wanted a piece of cake of that 1,000 crores. But then he has already sold the copyright. So if you have already sold your copyright to the journal, you cannot publish that paper anywhere else, or you cannot present that paper anywhere else, because you have already sold it. Sold or other you have transferred. So whenever you publish in a journal, think of, specifically in case of books or other things, आप लोगों में से कितने लोगों ने ऐसा एक डब्लू बनाया है उल्टा, फिर बीच में ऐसा बनाया है, और फिर ऐसे 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 करके चार से डंडे खींचे हैं, और यहाँ चार से चिड़िया बनाई है, और यहाँ एक पेड़ बना है? How many? Everybody might have done this. You can all have a copyright on it, because that is an individual art which you are doing. Nobody else can say that you cannot have a copyright, but it is not Pablo Picasso's Mona Lisa, which you can sell. So that's what you have to think of. Copyright is for books, artistic work, layout design, molds. It is for softwares, so which entails some economic benefit. And there are exemptions to it. आप लोगों में से कितने लोगों ने पूरी बुक कॉपी की? इंजीनियरिंग की किताबें खूब सारी कॉपी की होंगी, आप बोलिए मत, ठीक बात, कोई दिक्कत नहीं. लेकिन हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू हैव सोल्ड दैट बुक? Copying a book for your own study is not an infringement, but when you sell it, it is an infringement. Nowadays there are devices in which you can download the episode and see it later on, but you cannot have a ticket associated with it and say कि आ जाओ मेरे घर में, मैंने इतने एपिसोड डाउनलोड करके लिखे, 20-20 रुपए में दिखाएंगे. This is not possible, isn't it? That's an infringement of copyright. So copyright is basically for an idea, patent is for a product or a process. Actually it also starts with an idea, but it has to end up in a process or a product. Copyright is just an idea but in tangible form. Like if I have a story, I have to write it on a piece of paper or on an electronic media. If I have an artistic form, it should be recorded. If it is a song, it should be recorded, and so on and so forth. So that's all about copyright. Author's life plus 60 years in musical, artistic and literature. Say songs which Lata Mangeshkar has sent, author's life, till her life she got royalty. plus 60 years after her death. And even the government work is copyrighted for 60 years. Photography, whatever photographs you are taking through your mobiles, now there is, you can write your name and even you geotag it on your mobile itself. So you can geotag it, write your name, date, that automatically becomes copyright to you. You don't have to file a form for copyright. According to Berne Convention, if you write C in a gola and say all rights reserved and your name and address, it is automatically copyrighted to you. But in case of good books or something of that sort, which is going into the public domain, it is always better to file a copyright. It only costs 500 bucks, not more than that. So these are basically what we do, what council does. Council provides a search facility for innovators. We have patent database or other IP databases. We provide search facilities, helping the innovator find the technical aspects of innovations which they have done. Because there are a lot of people who don't know where the inventive step is. So that we help through meeting them through discussions. Even we call in experts from GOI for that. Then filing of patents, we file it in two forms, individual and institutional. Institutional is entirely free of cost, and in case of individuals, the individual has to bear the cost of the patent. Rest we do for free. Like searching we do for free, we do drafting for free, but for filing and other things, he has to pay the cost. We don't go into that. Then single desk counter for IP addresser. In the Industrial Department of Government of Chhattisgarh, Council of Science and Technology has got a single desk under my name for all IP addressal in the state. I am actually the nodal officer in the state for IP. Application with abstract or innovation to be submitted to the council. Discussions with the innovator, which we, if we require, we do it, or otherwise we don't require, so we go ahead with that. Drafting and all those. To understand the invention, gist of invention, and find the right embodiments. Means right embodiments means where that innovation is, what that innovation is all about. Then on the basis of application, patent or IP search is carried out, then detailed search report generated and provided to the innovator. We give the report to the innovator. You can go through it, see what is right and what is wrong, come to us, say that this is not covered, this is okay, this is fine, this is this. We'll agree with it. For institutional patent, TIFAC, DST files in on our behalf, and technology transfer we are doing. Patent Information Center, we have 4 wings in this right now, and 5th is being added just now, as I say. So, one is Patent Information Center, which is supported by Department of Science and Technology. This is a project for 1.65 crores, which we have in this project. Then Gyan Cell, which is technically supported by National Innovation Foundation, where we help grassroots innovators, means those villages actually, where we scout for innovation as well. We go there and find those innovations wherever we get some, मतलब मुखबिरी मिलती है जहाँ से वहाँ चले जाते हैं. That is how it works. Then Innovation Fund Program. This is something which is very good for you. What you can do is you can file in a proposal for Innovation Fund. Under this scheme only Shyamrao Sirke was facilitated. So there is a proforma in our website which you can download and file in for an Innovation Fund. Innovation Fund, we provide prototype development, proof of concept, funds for that. We also provide mentorship. We also provide laboratory facility in that, and we also provide patenting and IP and technology transfer facility with innovation, and there is no limit to it. We sanctioned 10 lakhs to a person who actually developed an Opter 2-in-1 bike. That bike can actually ride on the road as well as on the surface water body with just few attachments. And now he is using that Forest Department, Government of Chhattisgarh is using that bike for water hazard clearance from the forest ponds. So that this sort of innovation or innovative idea, you come up with us, there would be an expert panel. Sir has just 2 in that as well. Sir was the expert in one of the innovations which we sanctioned, and it was opted 2-in-1 bike only. So this is how it works. And then Intellectual Property Right Facilitation Center for MSME in Chhattisgarh. And the fifth part which I was talking about is TISC, which is WIPO sponsored, World Intellectual Property Organization sponsored TISC, which we recently got. So these 5 wings are fully functional in Intellectual Property Rights Center. Then we also have policy initiatives also. We formulated a policy, draft institutional IPR policy, and it was circulated to all the leading institutions in the state. You should also adapt an institutional IPR policy if you don't have, because that would give you a legal right to negotiate when you are doing a collaborative research. It covers all the aspects of IP, including dispute resolution. It also covers what would be the sharing of VIT and the inventor's share in case of when the technology is transferred. So that's the policy initiative which we have taken also. We have circulated it. I can provide you with a copy of it. Then we facilitate search, drafting and filing of all IPs, facilitate innovators, individual, micro MSMEs we facilitate, and grassroots innovators. And this is the aim which we have with the IP policy. Scope and issues we have covered: ownership, process, operationalization, who will operate that IPR policy in your organization, enforcement and dispute resolution, benefit sharing. All we have covered. And this is what is the ultimate goal which we want. Play an advisory role on all issues of relating to IP. Responsible for IP policy frame in the state. This council's ultimate goal, to be very frank, few which we have covered, few we want to. Negotiating licensing out and licensing in. Creating linkages between researchers and IPO, that is patent offices. Filing of patent application, conducting institutional IP audits. There would be a lot of innovations in your institution also, which are lying actually, which I suppose you also don't know that they are innovations and can be filed in as a patent. So for that you need an IP audit to be done. Reviewing of research collaborative arrangement and creating partnership with potential users of various research results. That means technology transfer. This cycle we want to promote. Whatever money is coming from public or government to universities R&D should end up in IP facilitations or IP development, and then industry and investor it should go, and the money should come back to the government again. And this cycle should go. This is what is the IP system in a holistic manner. Way forward is basically need for R&D to take a proactive role in adopting the IP agenda, linkage with IPR centers in the state, which already we are linked with, then commit to IP audit strategy and IP cell in your institution and develop partnerships. This would be the final outcome of it. IP policy formulation at each partner institute, creation of defined IP infrastructure, and lastly but not the least, trickle down benefit resulting from IP harnessing to the following parties. And first I have written the researchers. Second is the university, then funding agency, then general public, and then the government. So this is what is the final conclusion. R&D operates in now fast changing environment and complex business environment. So you have to change that way. If not now, it would be never. That is how it works. Property relations are being redefined, and ideas now are basically more important, or innovations are more important as compared to the tangible properties. And in order to develop a self-sustaining circle of research and innovation, IP is basically indispensable in India. Thank you. अब आप बीच में पूछ चुके हैं, अभी भी कुछ पूछना है तो पूछ लीजिए प्लीज. But then allow me to sit.
Yeah, please. Right.
Any questions?
Sir, if I prepare my product, I want to selling it, and already that product is available in the market, but some design will be changes and want to sell in the website. So it is needed to patent it or
नहीं पेटेंट तो होगा ही नहीं क्योंकि प्रोडक्ट ऑलरेडी अवेलेबल है मार्केट में। डिजाइन अगर बदला हुआ है तो आप डिजाइन रजिस्ट्रेशन करा सकते हैं। हाँ, आप डिजाइन रजिस्ट्रेशन करा सकते हैं। प्रोडक्ट का अगर डिजाइन बदला हो तो वो करा सकते हैं, लेकिन पेटेंट वगैरह की कोई जरूरत नहीं।
Thank you very much, sir. I am not someone from the science background, but I can tell that you can patent on one thing: how to put a difficult thing into simple words.
Thank you.
A very big round of applause because such wonderful topic in such simple words. He could connect with every single sentence, I'm sure. Thank you very much, sir, for your time and for such wonderful presentation. As a token of love and as a memory that you will be taking us back, I request our director, sir, to present Dr. Dubey with a memento and a certificate of appreciation. I request our director, sir, for a few words on this.
Thank you, Abhijit. Wonderful presentation. I could not have presented for 5-10 minutes because of my schedule. We are very happy because when they have told me that Amiji is coming, I told that I will attend. Because whenever I attend, I find everything is new. And as far as the research is concerned, because I am also have sent one two people to you for patenting, and Vikas is taking care of all those things. But whenever I have sent the people to you, very gladly and very humbly you have taken care of that. So very, very nice, humble, and very good person you are. So from the management side of the BIT and from the administration, I again thank you for such a wonderful talk. Thank you. Thank you, Abhijit.
Thank you very much, sir. Now I invite Dr. Khwaja, sir, for feedback on this session. And he was the first, actually he was on the front line, so he would be the best person to speak things.
Thank you, Panika sir. First of all, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to Amit Dubey sir, because I was contacted him before the FDP has been scheduled, and later on due to some COVID situations and all, we have to postpone the FDP to the month of August, and today he is here. Recently on the short notice, I have been updated the schedule and everything. In spite of his busy schedule in the morning first half, he has shown his gracious presence during the second half of the FDP. Thanks a lot, sir. You have considered my kind words and accepting to the keynote. Thank you so much. Thank you, Panika sir.
Thank you, sir. Dubey sir, we look forward for the more sessions like this. With these words, now I invite Professor Neetu Verma to the vote. Thanks.
Good afternoon, one and all. I, Hemant Verma, on behalf of PIT Raipur family, want to thank the management of PIT Raipur for their special support in the area of research and publication other than academics. I would like to give special thanks to our director, Sir Dr. T. Ramarao, sir, for his continuous guidance and support to organize this one-week faculty development program on IPR research, publication, ethics, and manuscript preparation. I I extend my sincere gratitude to the Dr. Amit, Professor Joint Director, CG Cost, Raipur, for taking out this precious time from his busy schedule. Thank you, sir. I also extend my gratitude to all the keynote speakers for sharing their knowledge in this area of research and publication, which will definitely help all the participants in their research areas. Now, I would like hearty thanks to the R&D Dr. Vikas Dubey sir and research team for their extra effort to conduct this FDP. I would also give my special thanks to convener Professor Neha Sharma ma'am for taking command and very well execution of overall event. I would also like to thank Professor K. Anand Babu sir, to the organizing secretary for his extra effort. Last but not least, I would also like to thank all the technical team, venue preparation team, IT cell, and all the faculty members and staff members for giving such a valuable time for this activity. Thanks a lot.